I kept setting myself up for disappointment because I needed to see the tangible breakthrough. I needed to see the timeline. I needed to see the light. I needed to know. And honestly, like, what I needed to know was that I was held. What I needed to know that it was for me and not to me.
Hello and welcome back to Mindfully Amplified. My name is Jasmine Vializ. I'm so excited that you're here in this space. Here, every episode is a journey of personal growth and cultural exploration. Today, we are tuning in and turning up the volume on specifically the topic of reinvention. I am so excited to bring back the lovely Faith Hill, wrong button again, welcoming Faith back into this space. Thank you so much for being here, Faith.
Thank you for having me.
Faith is an incredible human. If this is your first time tuning into this episode, I want to just quickly give you a rundown about how incredible this woman is. Faith is a visionary, mentor, and creative strategist who helps purpose-driven founders bring their soul-led ideas to life through her business, The Intuitive Architect. She's known for turning clarity into action, intuition into income, and holding both the dream and the details. Faith is also the co-founder of Soulsight Dating, a sensory-led speed dating experience, and Bohema Med Spa, a boutique wellness space where beauty and biology meet. Her work bridges healing, business, and embodiment, helping others lead with alignment and authenticity. Faith, you're a freaking rock star. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me read all that. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm a badass. Oops, did I say it? I did. I said it. You are. We're excited that you're here. And if you guys missed the episode where we talked about what it means to be a multi-potentialite, you need to listen to that episode because Faith shares her tricks and really the little secret sauciness. There's lots of different ingredients that make this possible for Faith to have all these businesses that she's able to pour into and allow those things to come alive for the community and serve in so many great ways. So I am so excited to have this conversation with you, Faith, because reinvention is, I believe, the only way that allows us to continue to evolve as humans. And also as we come into adulting, sometimes we think, okay, we're mature. And so I should have arrived. We have these expectations of ourselves that are unrealistic. And I think that offering conversation around this idea of reinvention is really, really needed.
You could not be more right. I actually have a love-hate relationship with this topic. And you know, when I listen to all the things that you just read, I don't hear the to-dos. I hear the journey. I hear the story. I hear the death and the rebirth. And that is what redefining yourself and redesigning is. Make no mistake about it. There is a death element that comes with it. I think a lot of times we get to focus on the rebirth, and that's a beautiful thing. But there's a hard heart part to this, right? A grieving process that to reinvent means sometimes it's a twisting or a repurposing or a different viewpoint of the same coin. Sometimes it's a new coin altogether, but every time there's a flip or something's put down, there's an element of grief with it as well. So I definitely have a bittersweet relationship with this topic, but overall, I have a deep, deep well of appreciation, and I stand in awe of the word, quite frankly.
I am so grateful that you share about the truth and the pain in the process because I've really appreciated lately these videos that have been circulating around the caterpillar chrysalis to butterfly, where you're watching the caterpillar struggle and you're just ow, you can't even imagine the reality of I'm about to go into darkness. I'm building literally a hardened shell where I'm just going to be here. Not going to be able to do what I was doing for my little life as a caterpillar and out there exploring, sampling the world, living life. I'm going into darkness and I have no idea what is going to come out on the other side. And I have no idea how much pain could come with me growing these dang wings and actually becoming the butterfly. And so it's been such a really beautiful, I think, testament because we all think about, oh, it's such a lovely story of transformation and all that, but there is pain in the process. And there's also that surrender of I'm going into darkness.
Yes. I love that you use that analogy. I often do too, because there is absolutely the moment. It's not just darkness. You're talking formless gel. Like there's literally no form to this being. It's completely discombobulated. Like for someone that typically has their head on straight, typically can see the forest for the trees, typically can, in this cocoon, you've lost that for a season and a moment, and it is scary. And you feel like a failure, you feel all the things. And, when it comes time, the wings are there, they're weak. And the only way that they become strong is the struggle to get out of the actual. Without that struggle, if someone were to come and help peel that cocoon out, to help that along, they would flop to the ground and not be able to fly. It is the struggle that builds the muscle. And I hate that analogy in so many ways. And I also reject the narrative that every time there's a struggle that it's for your growth. I reject that narrative, but I do believe that when the path is, I do believe that there also does have to be an element of struggle that is for you, right? So I
Mhm.
don't put the baby out with the bathwater. I definitely think you need it, but I don't think it's all the things, and there are distinctions there. But I digress. That's a whole other conversation, probably.
That's so great. And it's so great. And you said that thing about if you were to come along and pull open the chrysalis, and I'm like, I never even thought about that. But yeah, like this is a part of the process. Like the becoming is something that this butterfly has to do, right? It's someone else can't do it for them. They can't come along and say, "Hey, I got you. Let me help you along," and get these wings on before you get them on strong. So what exactly? So you said it like love-hate relationship with reinvention. What exactly does reinvention mean to Faith?
And I'll try to keep it very time conscious for your listeners and for you. But, when I look at my journey, that, let's be honest, I hope to God it's not over. I turn 44 next month, right? So let's hope that there's whoop, whoop. Let's hope that it is, just beginning in a lot of ways. But I think it's important because I have reached, maybe it is the double fours, but I've reached this place in my journey that I do feel like, there will be a launching pad from this place. But I think for the most part, some of the major reinventions, unless Spirit has other plans, has come. I did a lot of this between 19 and 44. And so, very quickly, I was 17 years old when I had my cosmetology license. At 19, I moved away, became a trainer for Aveda. So I was placed on stages, had no idea I even knew to do those things. I also, just my own brain was looking at these students coming out of school and they didn't know what to do. So just naturally, I'm like, you need a manual. So I created training manuals for them. Nobody taught me how to do that. I just did it. I also had this prompting in my spirit, just something in me that knew I would have a career change by the time I was 30. I didn't know what, didn't know where that was going to be. I fell into some passions of researching a lot of, yes, things about nutrition, but really it was more the conspiratory side of things, like heavy metals in certain things. And, just really found a passion in what they didn't tell us, right? Like, so I became all of a sudden a researcher, Erin Brockovich, Joan of Arc, passion filled, I'm gonna set the record straight kind of vibe I had going on in my early 20s. And that led me to a conference for doctors. They told me I couldn't go because, I'm a hairstylist. And so I literally told them, I called 8 times and said, I just want to hear what this man has to say. I'll pay for a ticket and I'll serve food. I just want to be there. And so I went and I sat on the front row, and literally everything that was coming out of that man's mouth was what I had researched for the past 7 years. And I knew that there was nowhere else in the whole universe that I was supposed to be sitting in that seat in that moment and that time. And it was one of the most incredible moments of my life. And before I went to this seminar, I had a dream that I was going to go to dinner with this man and his wife. Why he would do that, I don't know. Okay. I was a hairstylist. Why would he do this? Well, he comes up to me. I'm sobbing, mind you, on this front row. And he comes up to me and he says, who are you? I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm a hairstylist. I don't even know why I'm here. And he says, you are supposed to be here. Why don't you come to dinner with me and my wife? I feel like you're supposed to be part of this mission. Well, that fast forwarded, and this man taught a very specific way of detoxing intracellularly. This was way before this was a thing. This was probably 18 years ago, no lie. And his name is Dr. Pompa. You probably know him now online, but he was not that then. And I found a doctor local to me and I said, I want to start this program in your office. And fast forward, I did 3 separate offices in the Charlotte area. And I literally, after the third one, went to Dr. Pompa and I said, you have no systems. If you want your people to do this, you've got to hire me. We got to put a training program together. So he did, we did. And then that led me into taking over his seminars. Like I just kind of did the logistics, front of the house, back of the house. And I was his right hand for training and I trained all of
Just kind of did it.
Yeah, exactly. And so
I just kind of did the logistics, front of the house, back of the house.
Exactly. Yeah. For major events, 4 times a year. No big deal. I've never done anything like that before. And another thing that they had me do was run and there is a point to all this, I swear, but they had me run a mastermind. I've never even been to a damn mastermind. Okay. Well, I did what I know. I had training, parachurch ministry on finding out the core lies of what you believe about yourself and other people and even God. And I led these doctors through this and they thought it was the most transformative mastermind they'd have ever been to in their life. I mean, I am sitting here like nobody knows my script and I am just going here. Okay. And like literally, this is my life. This is what has happened. So fast forward through that, I get pregnant, no more traveling for me. I stopped that job. Swore to God I'd never do network marketing. End up launching a network marketing business with a go-getter team, did all the things. Fast forward, I was able to leave my marriage, which also ended up meaning I lost my entire community. Born and raised a Christian my entire life. Had a women's ministry. I was very much in that space and literally lost it all within probably 8 months' time. And so I'm saying all that to say that those were all many reinventions, many M-I-N-I, even though they were M-A-N-Y as well. And so I didn't know though what was happening to me. I didn't know that these were reinventions. You're in your 20s and 30s, you're just doing the thing, right? So I become a mom, which is the greatest role that has ever happened to me. And actually the one role in my life I was the most terrified to be. Okay. That's a conversation for another time. But I literally came to this place where I've now left my marriage. What am I going to do? COVID has hit. Network marketing makes me want to just vomit. I did not know what I was going to do. End up going back into coaching a little bit from nutrition, which led into high ticket sales, which led into my past business partner calling me and saying, listen, Faith, I have an idea. I want to do a holistic med spa, right? You have a beauty background, my license. You love the holistic side of things. Obviously, everything that I did with Dr. Pompa was about the mind, the body, right? And then you understand business and I want to partner with you. And I say all of that long-winded story to give context to the confluence, right? The convergence of a thing. That reinventions happen and there's a death, right? Like with each of those career changes, there was a death for me. Make no mistake about it. I went through it quickly, but there were painful moments. There were expansions happening within me. But with each and every one of them, when he came to me and he brought this idea, it was like all of my paths just collided. Of course, that makes sense for who I am and what I do. Right? So we did this for 3 years. Loved it. There were some constraints with it. And just even this year, I think the reason I have a love-hate relationship with this topic, Jasmine, is because this is the year that I literally had to beg Spirit and say, Spirit, can we do no more reinventions, please? Okay, can this be the last freaking one? I am tired. I am a single mom. I have to pick myself up off the floor and reinvent myself again. My business partner had some things he had to split, and I had a choice. And what ended up coming out of that choice was something that only God can do. But out of that has been the businesses that you just rattled off. Yes, they were birthed, but they have been incubating in my soul, and every single part of my past has come together in a convergence of the thing, right? And so it's just, I have to say that reinvention, usually there's a continuous path and it's leading to a crescendo that it's bigger and better than we think.
Yes, it's so real. Like we can't even envision it all the time, but it's when that releasing the old the previous identity, right? It's like, okay, I've lived this. I thought this was the end for me, and I say the end meaning
Well,
like
this is
I've an
my career
arrival
for
place.
life.
Yeah, yeah, this is my arrival place, and listening to that inner voice that says like, actually, this was still a stepping stone. We are headed somewhere else. Will you allow me to guide you? And that's scary. Like you're like, am I open to this? Like, okay, I guess. Feeling the intuitive calls and like the nudges that are saying go go go, and we're like, please say yes, and we're like, I don't know that I want to do that anymore. I think I just want to stay here. And this is spirit that's like, hey, I'm asking this of you, please. I've gotten all the things lined up. Trust me. That's like the hardest part, right?
Sometimes it comes in the form of a nudge. Sometimes it comes in the form of reoccurring dreams you can't shake. Sometimes it comes
Mm.
in the form of firing. You let go. Sometimes it comes in the form of that
Breakups,
door, breakups, right? Like,
losses. Yep.
got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, I think that there is such a and a moment of acknowledgement in this idea of reinvention. Like we all are thinking of this beautiful, transformative final product, but there is chrysalis, that uncomfortable place in the middle where it's like, all right, I guess I'm willing to release this old identity, and now I'm trusting that I'm going into this darkness, and I don't exactly know what's going to happen from like this middle place into the destination that I'm hoping will be an arrival place. I don't know what the arrival place might look like, but I'm going in anyway. I'm going into the chrysalis anyway. Like, how do you hold space for that place of uncertainty? And what is your advice to kind of allow us to lean into that middle place, that place of kind of mystery and for sure fear, where we're kind of falling into all of it and not sure what is going to come of it.
I have a two-part answer to that. The first part, really, I want to just highlight a little bit that I think we do ourselves such a disservice by identifying ourselves by what we do, because I think that that does tend to box us in. And then we have that pressure of, I've put so much into this identity of what I do as who I am. And so I think that, that might be one of the first layers that we can begin to start shifting for ourselves, right? Because then you're not married to that path. You are literally just solely within yourself and open to the path, right? So I want to say that. But in terms of, oh girl, the fear, I was named very appropriately for the journey of life. Whether the journey was because of the name or the name was fitting for the journey, I don't know. And those are questions I'll have later. But I was named appropriate. I have had to stretch so much in my faith. And this isn't just about a higher power, because in losing my community and losing the rock bed of how I practiced my faith, right? There was an expansion in and of that. So even there goes, as all of these things are shifting in my life, the rock bed of how I would have handled it before has also shifted. And so you want to talk about discomfort, formless, voiceless, don't even really know who I am right now. That is real. I I use the analogy of flow and water because I'm not a great swimmer. Okay, it's fine, I can swim, but like I'm not a great swimmer. But like, imagine swimming against the current and how exhausting that actually is versus, oh shit, the current is fucking going, right? Like, and I literally, it's gonna be better for me to just like sit back and hold on for dear life. Like, there's so many moments of that, and grounding myself to where I know that I'm held regardless of if I see it or not. I can't tell you how many times I've prayed and been like, you're either gonna drop me on your ass or you're not. And like, or drop me on my ass. And like, it's either I'm gonna nosedive or I'm not. Like, I don't even know where my faith is right now, but I know I can't control this.
Mm,
And I
mm.
don't even know what that means, but I know I have enough. This is what I said this year. I think that my guides were finally like, she got it. Because
Yes,
this year,
our work is done.
because when I felt the rug pulled out from under me, even though there were signs and signs and signs, I knew it was coming, like whatever. The feeling is still, you still have that victim narrative, like, oh, and being victimized is a real thing. But sitting in it is, it's not helpful. So, but this time when it happened, I was like, this is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable. I'm scared. I'm a single mom. I'm scared. Okay. I have a lot of responsibilities in my world. And I don't have help, not a shred, not a child support. I know there's a lot of women that I don't have that. I never had that, and so it's a lot. It's scary. But what I kept saying was, I have more data in my nervous system that this works out than that it doesn't. I said that exactly to you, did I not? I have
Mm-hmm.
more.
You did?
I don't know where it's going to come from. I have no idea. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. But I have more data in my nervous system that this works out than that it doesn't. And I am
Mm.
excited to see how it plays out. There is something that you become unshakable when your faith gets to a place of surrender that deep. There's something unshakable.
Hey, you know that I resonate with this. So those of you who don't know, that Faith and I are dear friends. So we are sounding boards for each other. And I feel like we have both been tested so much in this last 5-6 years of life that, like, having this awareness that we can literally take our hands off the wheel and trust. We know that it's there, but in the moments when we feel like, the Virgo in us, we want control, we're holding on to it, it feels uncomfortable to be like, oh, this is the moment you're supposed to let go. Like, but I got it. I'm good. I just want to hold on to it. Like, can I just hold here and then you work on the rest? No, like, Spirit's like, no, like, literally, please let go because I got it. I'm working this out for you in the background. Like, that being that trusting is, I think, uncomfortable, especially for us. Like, let's just be honest, like, being women in the age that we are, where there has been a lot of letdowns, a lot of disappointments, a lot of people who have not shown up when they promised to, like, continuation of all of the life having lifed around us. It can be really uncomfortable to hope
Oof.
and have faith and have true faith that, like, somebody else has got us, right? Like, wait, you mean I'm not the one who has to be pushing and doing and forcing and creating all the time? Like, I am meant to allow this to happen? That's scary.
Girl, hope became a trigger for me. I became so triggered by hope that there's a verse in the Bible that was like, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Yeah, literally it was like my anthem, right? Like I also came out of the culture of, truly just naming anything you name and just name, you have it. Like, I believed for miracles, whether it was in my marriage, whether it was in my career path, to that the victor was coming, the breakthrough was there, and there was always that carrot that I just couldn't quite, but somehow I would get a word or a song or something would encourage my spirit to hold on a little longer. Well, the breakthrough didn't come in that way. The thing didn't happen in the way that I had settled in my soul had to be the way. And that caused me to have so much despair, so much despair. And I heard a analogy or a story one day, whether this is true or not, I don't know, don't fact check me, but someone told me this and it encouraged me. But there was these Vietnam prisoners of war, and this one had been there literally since the beginning of the war, and another young one came in, and every time it was like, okay, Christmas is almost here, they're going to surely get us out by Christmas, or whatever it was. And that kid ended up dying, right? Whereas the one that was in there from the very beginning, he didn't. And he tells his story, right? Like, whether it's true or not, again, I don't know. But the analogy rang true. I kept setting myself up for disappointment because I needed to see the tangible breakthrough. I needed to see the timeline. I needed to see the light. I needed to know. And honestly, like, what I needed to know was that I was held. What I needed to know that it was for me and not to me. What I needed to really, really know was that it hurts and that's okay. And this isn't the way you want it to be, and that's okay. And that you're not a failure, even though this feels like it's failing. And to just let it fall, all of it, let it crumble to the ground and be what may, and then open your eyes And then you'll start to find things. Like I just, the need for it to not crumble was so strong in me. The need, I couldn't lose a marriage. I didn't want to lose another relationship that I had poured so much of my soul into to be loved back. And like, no, like let the data be what it is. There's something very powerful about someone that can get to that place that say it is what it is, and be completely embodied in the feeling of what it is, and also not moved because they know the story's not.
Girl, I have so much like literal chills thinking about this. No, like there's so much resonance, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both have been through it. And the truth is that so many people have. And I think there is acknowledgement in the fear. Like so many, I think people send us these messages of like, rah rah, you gotta go, you gotta push through, like get the motivation to do it, but they don't talk about the reality of it and this sense of like even self-judgment that comes up and these feelings of us like giving up too early. Like, am I giving up? Am I just inserted, walking away? Am I not doing enough? Am I not staying enough? Like, am I not
That
showing up
that
the way that I'm?
meme where the miners that quit right before the gold.
Yes,
I want to feel that
exactly.
thing.
People make you feel that. You just got to stay in, just get more support, do more, be more, right? And it's like, okay, there's actually, I've been clearly shown that this is not for me and that I am meant to release and trust. And as you were talking earlier, like I've been giving that capacity in my nervous system to allow me to move through this, and it's scary to like be like, I have the capacity to move through it. It's going to be so painful, but all of this life has prepared me for these moments. Spirit is saying constantly, trust me, trust me. You need to let your hands off that steering wheel. You got to trust. You got to really let me drive this. And even though we've had those moments of like other people telling us that it's not, it's not time, we should stay the course, we should stay focused, and we can push up against it and we can say, you know what, like I know what's for me. I trust that this place, even though there's uncertainty, lots of uncertainty, this place actually feels clearer and lighter. And somehow I feel or can find more peace in honoring this call that spirit's sending to me.
I think that the trap that we often get into is that we think that surrender and it working out for the good or for the breakthrough, whatever it is, it's the idea that we have of how it's going to look that actually puts spirit in such a box and sets us up for disappointment. I've said this to you many times too. I've had so much fun finding God in all the places they told me dare not look. It is in the letting go of things that they told me to hold on so tight to that I tried over decades. Okay. And contort myself and change and work and do all the things to make. No, when I let it go and I just said, no, and I don't understand and I don't know. It's really such a beautiful thing to let spirit be spirit. And it's gonna blow your fucking mind. Like it is better than you think. It's just maybe not in the timeline that you think. Maybe it's quicker, maybe it's shorter, maybe it's longer. But I guarantee you, if you can take your hands off of the exact how and exact what the end result is, it's a journey worth living. It's
I know when we talk about this now, after having had experiences, confirmation of things of like trusting in spirit and actually saying it worked out, like what do we say to those people who haven't had that yet? It's like they're either at the very early stages of their journey or this is like the first time where they're acknowledging like, okay, I took this leap with this business or this relationship or insert whatever it is, and now I've been feeling like it's time for me to let it go. I've been feeling the call, but I don't know, I just feel like maybe I'm leaving too early or maybe, what do we say to them to like encourage them?
This may not feel encouraging, but this is what I'll say. And this is what I've said. I use this honestly with my clients because sometimes there's something strategy can't even get you out of. That's why I
Mm.
love what I do and I get to drop in because it's not always about strategy, nor is it about
Coming from a Virgo, by the way, which is powerful. If a Virgo can say strategy
that
is,
so
yeah.
much, right? Like that is my MO. But the maturation, the sage of the school of hard knocks has taught me. I'll give it to you this way. When we can let our right and wrong thinking die, we will find liberation. Okay? And I'll say it to you this way. Let's say that the project is to fry an egg. That's the project we're working with here. We're going to fry an egg. All right. So scenario number one, you go, you get the egg, you crack it, you fry it. It's fried. Okay, we're going to say you did good. The next one, you crack it, you go to fry it, it's scrambled, popped. There's no sunny side up. There you go. Third scenario. Spirit, I just need you to fry this egg through me because I need you to fry this egg through me. I'm going to surrender. You go, you crack the egg, and it scrambles. Which one of those is the higher path? So I would contend that the one that spirit did it through me, regardless of the outcome, is the higher path. When I'm doing on my own resources, I can falsely think I'm doing good and right because that's the viewpoint that I have. That it's all within my skills, it's all within my box, it's all within the path that I have in this moment right in front of me. If I do it wrong, then I'm wrong. I'm bad. I messed up. When I say spirit, I need you to do this through me. Now, this is not to absolve the person of responsibility. I cannot stand how so many will put external forces, right, like either evil or good, and give them all the blame and all the responsibility. I am a huge proponent of personal responsibility and how you show up in this world. Okay. But I do believe that when it comes to feeling stuck, when it comes to something feeling like a failure, sometimes you fucked up, okay? Like it is that you fucked up and like take responsibility for that. And also don't stay there because the truth is if you get rid of right and wrong, black and white thinking, right? That box that's in or out, then you're able to see that it was for you, not to you. And I think we fail to be able to see that when we have such rigidity. I think it's a huge thing in the South. We're in the South, so obviously that's a huge thing here, especially with church culture, Bible Belt culture, right and wrong thinking, in and out theology. Most religions have an in and out theology, and somehow they're all in and we're all out. It's like it's the whole thing, right? But when you can let that die,
The other guy's the opposite.
right, right, exactly. Exactly. It's like anyway. So, when you can let those things begin to slough off of the way you perceive and filter information, the way that you perceive and filter the details of the circumstances that you're looking at, it begins to invite you to a higher perspective. That's when you begin to see the potential reality that you are actually living in. That's when you begin to see the force that you actually are within your spirit, not just your soul that has mind, will, and emotions and can feel convoluted, not just in your body, right? That can give you all kinds of mixed messages, but the true core identity of who you are that's connected directly to source. You have access to that part of you and that invitation to go there and be able to see that higher perspective.
There's such great wisdom there. And I'm curious, like, because there are some of us who hear that and we're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what to do and how to channel that and how to be present with that. Then there are others of us who are brand new to this idea of like checking in, tapping in, being present. Like what are the practices, kind of more tactical steps that people can take to say like, all right, I want to be present and stay grounded in my reinvention so that I can be receptive and open. Like what are the things that people can do, or how would you suggest that they allow this to be present for them? What are the practices and maybe rituals that they can start to embody to help?
I love that. I'm not a hypnotherapist, obviously. It's above my pay grade. But what I will tell you is this. I started at 19 being trained and it was a Christian-based program, actually. But being trained into a lot of this awareness of understanding and hearing the looping thoughts. right? I think I mentioned in one of the podcasts, taking your thoughts captive. We have to own those things, right? Like thoughts are not necessarily who you are. They are coming from the symphony that has been created in your subconscious since years of third trimester to 7 years of age. And sometimes that plays and loops your whole entire life, and the experiences that you have in life begin to validate those things. So if you're just getting started, I think being really quiet and listening to what those looping things are and trying to ask and just being open with zero judgment. Like, again, dying out that black and white thinking that I'm bad or good, right? Just noticing the data that's coming in of the messages you're believing about yourself, other people, spirit, whatever you're believing. And where did that start? Where's the first time you started to hear that? What was that about, right? Is there some processing of a memory that needs to be had? Because as you begin to excavate some of these experiences, the filters start to shift. Those internal loops begin to shift. And I'll kind of do it like this. It's kind of like we live in a world that if it feels a certain way, we act on that feeling, if it feels a certain way, we believe it, then we act on it. And then,
Mm-hmm.
it's a fact, right? It's a fact.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I challenge the narrative to go, okay, but what are facts outside of your feelings, right? That you can then choose to believe as true, thus making you act out of it, whether you feel it or not, and trust that the feelings will line up. Right. And so that's that process of internal healing that I think has to start being there when you're in a process of reinvention, because the mental game is where it's at. So the battle's the mind.
It's true. It all begins and ends there, right? And there's so many are new to this world of even like self inquiry, and I think that this part is essential. Like it is an important thing to pair with nervous system regulation, because there's a lot of like stress and anxiety that can come along with like losing, we'll say releasing
Releasing.
past versions of ourselves, and feeling the judgment from the world outside of us, like from everybody else around us who says, but you're so good at this. Why do you want to that? Like, yeah, all of those things that come up. It's like we have to stay regulated, but in addition to that, staying present and regulated inside of our bodies, we also have to stay really honest about like what part are we playing that are creating these feelings of dysregulation. What are the things that we're telling ourselves and the behaviors that are coming along with it that are producing this same result for us of feeling a different, an unfortunate kind of way at the end result that now impacts our willingness or ability to lean into that reinvention, right? And so it does feel like this is a whole commitment to, we'll say, self-awareness and being present in self-awareness and as the part of the journey to reinvention.
Entrepreneurship, reinventions are not for the faint of heart.
It's true. It's true. This is why people like the intuitive architect exist. So what is one truth that you've discovered about yourself through reinvention? I feel like you said some really important nuggets there that echo that, but what would you say is one truth that you've discovered about yourself?
That I actually have a superpower in surrendering. And that is huge for my Virgo-ness, but that's just huge for the messages that I got growing up. But it is actually a superpower. It is a desire. I've always yearned for the safety and security within a couple relationship that I've had, to be able to surrender, to be able to, I've not had that experience on a large scale, or a longevity scale, should I say, but I've tasted it. But I have gotten to experience it more in my entrepreneurial life, and I've gotten to experience that it is a superpower of mine. And as much resistance as I gave it, it's actually my superpower.
Mm-hmm. I resonate with that being a superpower and tapping in to this willingness to pivot and trust. So what's one message that you would share with someone who is afraid, who's just like stuck, feeling in their heads and in their hearts like they don't know how to move forward? What's one message you want to share with them?
If you're stuck, well, I have an overarching message, but if you're stuck, I think that it may be reframed differently, but you're right on time. You're right on time. And it's for you, not to you. If you're
Mm.
stuck because you typically fawn out, ask yourself where it's time and what do you need to support yourself in taking action. If you're stuck and you're one that takes massive action and that's not the issue, ask yourself where you can give yourself the rest, where you need to let go of the reins.
Mm. I resonate with that. For me, it was definitely the latter, not the former, that I needed in this last, at least in this last reinvention. Every other one, every season's a little different. But so, Faith, I would love for the listeners to know how to get in touch with you, especially those who feel like they could use your support in this reinvention process. So, would you mind sharing how folks can
Yes,
find you?
absolutely. My jam is really solopreneurs that need that second something, someone to bounce off of, right? Like that second brain in their business, or they're just feeling stuck and they just, maybe you're not a solopreneur, maybe you are feeling that stuckness, but you're ready for a launch. I love doing an intuitive blueprint. So you will leave with not only a full 90-minute session, but we will take those notes. You can take them and run with them, and you and I can be you don't have to work with me ongoing. And also, if you feel like that support is needed and necessary, you can. So you can find me on Instagram as intuitive_architect. And in my bio, you can get a discovery call and we can see if we're a great fit.
Thank you so much, Faith. Okay, one final question. If you could amplify one message to the world for them to hear and take with them, what would it be?
I'm going to have to repeat myself, but it's got to be that you're right on time and it is for you, not to you,
Mm.
even though
Mm.
whatever you feel, it's for you, not to you.
It's right on time.
Right on
I like this. It's right
time.
on time. Faith, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to bringing you back. I'm pretty sure there are many other conversations that you and I should have and will have, because as you were talking, I'm like, oh, motherhood. Oh, this, oh, that. Like, so many important topics that we need to touch on. So I'm sure you will be back. So until next time, thank you so much for being here.
Such an honor. Thank you.
My friends, continue living life mindfully amplified. Take care now.